Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about something we haven't talked about in a while. Star Wars. I came across this article on Bounding in the Comics that the Mandalorian stunt coordinator called out Disney, then Disney called him, and then he continued to call out Disney, and then he had to apologize. Because that's how that works.
You know, it's funny though, because we've had this happen. Like where you've said something wasn't glowing praise for something, like Toy Story Land, and then Disney gets pissed about it, and then they tell you that they don't like that you didn't say everything positive, and then you're expected to change your position.
Yeah, you're supposed to change your review because Disney's PR people don't like it. I know what it's like to work with them. Fully. So I completely understand where this guy's coming from. He wants to make sure that he's going to continue to do work for Disney, even though now he probably won't. But let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 275,000 subs. Woo! Thank you so much for the support. Let's talk about this. Subscribe to the channel, please, by the way. So yeah, we kind of sort of were following the situation with Gina Carano. For those of you who don't know the deal, she did play Cara Dune in The Mandalorian, seasons 1 and 2. She did voice some, at the time, I thought pretty mild political opinions, and she basically got canceled, got fired by Lucasfilm.
Well, it started off with she was harassed because she wouldn't put pronouns in her bio, but instead said, well, I understand why someone would want to, and I support that, but I don't want to. And that's what started the entire thing. Yeah,
so she basically got canceled by Twitter, and then, of course, like so many things current year, Twitter drama spilled over into real life, and she got fired by Lucasfilm and basically blacklisted from Disney, as I understand it.
But meanwhile, I do want to point out, with all the actors that have worked with her, that comes up into this too, a lot of actors that have worked with her on the show have had nothing but nice things to say about her. They all say, oh, she's a very sweet person, she's really good, she's really nice. They don't say anything bad about her. They're like, I think, was it that Giancarlo Esposito said she was the favorite person that was there he worked with.
Yeah. So, and he's supposedly in talks to play Professor X. So maybe she'll get to be in another X-Men movie.
That's just because he's a white supremacist.
Yeah, I know, right? Anyway, let's talk about this. So the Mandalorian stunt coordinator calls out Disney for turning Star Wars into a failing franchise, screwing over Gina Carano. So his name is Ryan Watson. He has called out Disney for their mismanagement of the Star Wars brand.
True.
And how they've not only managed to turn into a failing franchise, but in the process also screwed over his former co-worker, Gina Carano.
Also true.
Watson, who has provided both stunt and fight coordination for the spin-off series ever since its inception, voiced his initial frustration toward the House of Mouse in September. He made a post on his personal Instagram account. They won for, let's see, Boba Fett won for Outstanding Special Visual Effects in a Season or a Movie.
It lost out for sound editing.
For a comedy or drama. Wait, it's a comedy?
Outstanding fantasy sci-fi costumes and outstanding stunt coordination for a drama series.
Yeah, so anyway, he said the Emmys were yesterday and Star Wars lost, but just a reminder to my stunt team, or should I say our stunt team.
They won for The Mandalorian before.
Yeah, we did it. We have won. We won because Jon Favreau let us do it. Thank God for you, sir. I wish I could tell you how much I love you, so I'll tell you now. To this end, Watson then turned to offer a number of thanks to his cohorts, starting with the stunt team. He basically just keeps bringing up Jon Favreau, saying that the reason The Mandalorian was successful was Jon Favreau.
Which I think we all know that, actually.
I shout out to Disney. Nobody did like we did. I'm so proud of the true martial artists and stunt performers that made seasons 1 and 2 legendary, and we made history. Goes into something about Mozart or whatever. Mozart died thinking he was a failure, but the audience has spoken, and forever we will be remembered as reinventing a dying brand.
When it comes to The Mandalorian, yes.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, because Star Wars was on the decline. It's indisputable. The sequel trilogy, movie after movie, there were diminishing returns. People were initially excited until they saw what they were getting, and they noped out.
The Last Jedi just ruined it for everybody.
Absolutely.
Because it didn't matter. People who loved The Last Jedi were pissed at The Rise of Skywalker. People who hated The Last Jedi didn't go see Rise of Skywalker. I mean, Last Jedi pretty much sunk no matter what way you look at it.
Yeah, and, Solo suffered for it. Solo was the first, box office bomb in Star Wars history. It did not do very well. And if it wasn't for The Mandalorian returning the series to its roots, I don't know where Star Wars would be right now.
We wouldn't have all the shows.
No.
I mean, well, those are, questionable whether how good they are, but we wouldn't have them because The Mandalorian was like a trial run. At that point, Iger was talking that he thought there was brand fatigue for Star Wars, which I'd argue there still is. But Mandalorian was what they did a trial run on, and it worked out well because it was good, and you could tell the people who were behind it cared about Star Wars, knew the source material. We're just trying to make a good show that happened to be diverse. We praised when Cara Dune showed up, and everybody started they loved Cara Dune at first. We praised it because we're like, well, we think that's great that this character is a strong female character, but it's not. You're not told it's a strong female character. She just is a good character, and it had nothing to do with Gina Carano personally, but the same people that were lauding it and saying how great it was were the ones that threw her under the bus as soon as they could.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'm not going to bore you with the Mozart, allegory here, but he says 100% Jon Favreau. Thank you, Master Fav, for having vision. I'm sorry that even with your artistic genius, you have to face the corporate machine.
So not allowed to do what he wants, basically.
So he got called out. He said, I just got called by Disney for saying how I feel. I have been there. Mr. Watson, I have been there.
Nuh-uh, Twitter says you never worked there ever.
Rather than backing down, he said, ask Colin Wilson why he started this mess in the first place. A lot of fans of Gina Carano asked them how they feel about my post. She got screwed over too. Asked Mr. Wilson why he started this mess in the first place. I love my art and the fans loved it too. So apparently sparking controversy within the stunt coordination industry over his peers' belief that he was directly insulting the Book of Boba Fett. So yeah, he was basically Mozart and Cellier, and he was trying to be like, we were better than you.
Well, the Book of Boba Fett wasn't that good. I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't that good. Watson returned to Instagram the next day to apologize to his cohort and clarify that his post was no way about him or the team.
I didn't get that it was. No. I just saw that he was like, we didn't win this time for for our stunt coordination in the Book of Boba Fett. But remember, we won for the Mandalorian, and because we won for the Mandalorian, we brought Star Wars back, and what a good job. And a lot of the same team worked on both. I didn't get that he was pissing on Book of Boba Fett at all. Did you?
No, not really.
No, I don't think that's what he was. That wasn't what his intent seemed to be to me at all. Just remember, hey, we won before, so yay, we won one, we can do it again. Basically, was the way I took it.
He said that the reason Book of Boba Fett did not win is that the stunt people did not get listened to on how to shoot action. That's one of the biggest complaints about Book of Boba Fett. Was this is supposed to be a Boba Fett show. Boba Fett's supposed to be action-packed, and Boba Fett is not.
He's busy talking.
He's too busy talking.
Which he wouldn't do.
And it was
He got shit done. He shot first, then he talked.
I only watched 2 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett. I watched the one that was basically a backdoor episode of The Mandalorian, and I watched the first episode, and that was it. I didn't even watch the one with deepfake Luke, because I had no interest in it.
Yeah, I didn't get that far either.
So anyway, I mean, look, this is just another example.
But I didn't get that that's what he was insulting Book of Boba Fett. That's not what I got from it.
No, he said, people didn't listen to Jackie Chan when he brought, Kung Fu movies over to America, and they look like shit because they didn't listen to him. And he's like, that's what happened to Boba Fett. We don't get a say in how it's shot. It's exactly what happened on Boba Fett. So yeah, it's basically like...
Well, the audience can tell, Disney.
Yeah. Yep. So
the audience can tell.
He said, I can't imagine someone going up to a surgeon during open heart surgery and going, hey, you sure you want to cut that artery right there? I'd like to cut it over there. So yeah, I mean, look, Disney is a machine at this point with Marvel and with Star Wars. And, there have been lots of complaints about creative differences. Basically, will this director do everything that the corporate, the film by committee tells them to do?
Well, the film by committee is what we ended up with, with the things that ended up being very boring. I'm sorry, The Force Awakens was boring because it was A New Hope all over again because it was filmed by committee. So they tried to do something completely different the next time, but instead of planning it out, you let, Rian Johnson do his shit, and then that's alienate people, and then you try to backpedal it, and it's just a mess. It's just a complete mess.
They got rid of Gina Carano and she was well liked. That's all I was saying. Well, we can't have somebody with opinions like hers working at a progressive company like Lucasfilm.
He said they won't let people do our jobs. And at the end he said, quit changing our shit. We're making you look good. Stop making yourself look bad. This is your fault.
It's your fault.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. So he's probably never going to work for Disney again, if I had to guess. So yeah, I mean, this is very Disney. They do this on every level. Everything is by committee, and it's kind of the death knell.
Book of Boba Fett was boring because you didn't. If you would let Boba Fett be Boba Fett and let these guys do what they wanted to do, I bet you it would have been so much better.
The Mandalorian is the Boba Fett show that a lot of us imagined as kids. You know, playing with Boba Fett in the sandbox or whatever. You know, he was barely in the movies, but it was like, yeah, Boba Fett was in a show. He'd do all this badass stuff like the Mandalorian does, and then Boba Fett gets his own show, and I'm thinking, well, it's gonna be more Mandalorian. It's like, nah, it's just this old guy talking.
Yeah, and even the actors like, this isn't Boba Fett.
It's not Boba Fett.
But he got a phone call from Disney too.
I'm sure he did.
And I wonder if the other actors who said Gina Carano was a sweetheart, they loved her, got phone calls from Disney as well.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure, yes, lots of phone calls. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.